Live. So we wanted to talk about security, and David talked to you about security a couple weeks back. But I guess let me start off by saying I miss you guys. You know, I haven't been gone that long, right? But I miss seeing you guys every Thursday. So, and you guys are always in my hearts, and I'm always thinking about you guys. So, but probably not thinking about you when I'm sleeping.
We'll call you.
Anyway.
You're not dreaming about it? You should be dreaming about it.
Juice Plus, so you're not taking it?
Yeah, I am taking my Juice Plus. I'm stealing my kids' Juice Plus too. So she kind of went over the idea that security is like an onion. There's lots of layers to securing your computer systems, etc. And she kind of, I think, went over the different layers of security, all the different areas involved. So we're going to detail that out a little bit more. And this really affects those of you with laptops who travel around with them. How many people do that? Okay. Do you guys know how many get stolen at airports every year and just get stolen out of cars? A CEO of one of the companies that we work with was ironically in a Whole Foods parking lot, and someone smashed a window and took his MacBook out of his car. I mean, he made it really easy for them, but it was getting real at that Whole Foods parking lot. I had to go there. If anyone of you have seen that, it's pretty funny. Anyway, but it's important if you work where you keep people's personal information, probably the insurance industries, anywhere you're dealing with credit cards, that the hard drives are encrypted if it's a laptop or if it's something that's got that kind of data on there. And it's not so hard to do that. There's lots of products that'll do that. Encrypting makes it so that they can take that hard drive out, but they can't access it. And if they crack your password, then there's issues even trying to even get into it. So if you're dealing with that kind of information, it's important to encrypt that. And let's see, the locks. You've seen all those locks that you can put on laptops, those as well. You need to worry about that as well. Endpoint security. Now, this is kind of the more traditional stuff that you're thinking about when you worry about antivirus. And I wanted to emphasize, how many of you guys have Macs? You can safely ignore a good portion of what I'm about to tell you today, but the rest of you who don't have Macs, you may want to just think about that. Although physical security is important for people with Macs who deal with information like that, those people who are working in the world of PCs, it's unfortunate, but it's part of your reality that you have to be careful about this kind of stuff. So most of the endpoint security stuff is all packaged into the same product, and most of them don't do diddly squat. I've finally kind of given up on a lot of them. I personally still have Trend Micro on my system, but really where the strength of it all lies is keeping your password strong. How many of you guys just log in without even a password? When you turn on your computer, you just don't even have to put in a password?
Used to.
Used to, not anymore. Okay, that's actually a good thing. And then I will include and give you guys all an idea of how to build a strong password in this document a little later on. The internet's like the Wild West, or as The Economist puts it, cyberspace will never be completely secure. So don't go out there like worried that the whole world's going to come to an end or something like that because you're putting your credit card on Amazon.com. I see a lot of people who are freaked out about doing that. But for the most part, right now it's a wild, wild west out there. And the bad people exploit software that we all use on a daily basis. I mean, I can't think of a single software product that I use consistently that has never been had some sort of exploit available to it. So you want to make sure those programs are up to date, and you need to know where the attack vectors are. And if you're trying to get, if you're a rat and you're trying to get into a house, Terry will be able to kind of find the holes in which they climb in or how they get in there. Same things about your computer. You know how they get in. They get in from email. There's what's known as drive-by exploits on websites, so they automatically do that. So you make decisions based on that. The most obvious thing is don't use Internet Explorer. Please don't use it. I mean, I use it occasionally, but it is a sponge for malware and bad stuff. And then, you know, anytime you're connecting in like disks and things like that. That's another attack vector. But really, those are really the only avenues that they get into your computer on. These are the symptoms of malware. How many people have run into some sort of virus or malware experience? Who's gone through that? Yeah, so of all those who've experienced that, did it either cost you a lot of money or a lot of time? All those things. So, like I said, the endpoint security stuff, the stuff that you run on your own computer, by the time it gets there, it's too late most of the time, and Microsoft hasn't done a really good job of doing that. So what we've taken to doing in our industry is we go where you connect to the internet, and we put in a really fancy firewall there, and it scans for viruses and malware, and it'll do content filtering and those kind of things there. And a lot of them, like this red stop right here, and even the Sonic Wall checkpoint, won't even let sites that have specific malware on it, you won't even be able to get to those things. It stops dead at your firewall. And I can't open this page, I can't open this website. Well, be thankful. Because a lot of times there's really legitimate websites that get malware on them. The OC Fair about 5 years ago got a drive-by exploit put on it through an ad that was on the right-hand side of it. And, Google found it, I think, before anybody else did, and they blocked it. These programs would do the same thing. So it's a prevention technique, and it means that it doesn't even get to your endpoint security solution like your Norton antivirus. And I hope nobody's using Norton antivirus too. This part is really important. A good firewall can often make up the increased upfront costs by preventing a single malware infection. How many of you guys are still using just the firewall that was given to you by the cable company or by Verizon or something like that, instead of having a good firewall? It's worth having a good firewall and looking at ones that do protection in line right there in that firewall. And we can talk to you guys about that. Email security. Email security is a huge one, and we use like filtering tools. There's services on the web where basically you tell the whole internet to send all your email through this filtering service, and then they securely forward it to you. And a couple examples of that is, it used to be called MX Logic, and I still call it MX Logic because I'm old school, but it's called McAfee SAS, and the other one that we use is Reflection. And these are both services to help protect your email from nasty stuff getting in on it. You should be cognizant of emails to or from unknown addresses or with unknown attachments. And I'll try to send to you guys, there's a game about trying to figure out what is a phishing email. They show you 2 examples and like, is it real or is it fake? It's kind of entertaining because it's really hard to tell the difference sometimes. So really what this whole presentation is about is educating you and giving you guys some of the tools. And really where the difference lies, we can do edge security all day long. I kind of want to like turn this sideways so you can see that. Okay. It's Ed. It's his afro. Anyway, so basically, you guys make these decisions every day, and you see something come in your inbox or whatever. It's what's going on between your ears that's going to help decide whether that's something to click on or not click on. All these other techniques are great solutions. They're not going to prevent everything probably because there's just too much nastiness on the internet. But I think, at least in my experience, with a lot of these tools in place, you'll rarely, if ever, deal with any of these problems. And a lot of our clients have learned the comfort of that and don't run into a lot of these problems. The other thing that we do, and I've done them in here before, is I do lunch and learns. We do lunch and learns, and we can go through specific examples of some of these things. So if it's worth, if it's of interest, let us know. We'll set up another lunch and learn. We can even do lunch and learns at like our office or our Coco's or wherever. And then you probably heard me talk about this a million times because I harp on it a lot. It doesn't matter if you have a Mac. It doesn't matter if you have a Chromebook. You need to back up. And having a business continuity plan of some idea of how your business is going to continue to run if this computer fails or this server fails or heck, if my Google Drive falls apart, or if you're using Amazon S3, a lot of people lost all their data on Amazon S3. So you can't count on the cloud entirely to be your full backup as well. You need your data in 2 separate places, and you need to have a plan on how you're going to bring that data back. And so there's one client who didn't listen to us and do mail filtering, who got, one of their computers got the evil crypto locker on there, and it actually encrypted a bunch of files on their server. And fortunately, we did have a very good business continuity plan and good backups, and we were able to restore that data from 15 minutes before the exploit took place, and cleaned out that system. But that's a specific nasty virus, and if it gets to you, if you don't have a backup plan in place, and it gets on your computer, you're really out of luck. There's nothing else you can do.
That's ransomware?
That's ransomware. But it's gotten to the point, because a lot of the servers have been blocked by DNS servers and Google Apps, that it encrypts it, but it doesn't even give you the chance to decrypt it for like $500 or whatever they're charging it. Don't do that. Don't pay that money, because the people who pay that money make it worse for the rest of us. Anyway, long story short, the most important element is you. And so no matter how strong the network security is, if you're not educated in the do's and don'ts, then no amount of software will help. So if there's anything we can do to help you guys learn more, we're here to help you with that. And I also have these documents that kind of go over some of the things, so I will hand these out. Do I have time for questions? I'm up. All right, I talked a lot. So what's in this document right here in particular, there's a gentleman by the name of Bruce Schneier who gives a really good idea. Well, he's a great security person with a great blog. So if you're at all interested in that stuff. Anyway, he has this document on how to create a safer password. So I'll pass these out, and I want to thank you guys all.